Good morning, people. My video today is about something that's very popular during when the tourists are here, and were before COVID, and no doubt will be again in due course when the tourists get back here to Thailand, and that is motorcycle riding in Thailand. Now, touring around Thailand has been very popular amongst many people using motorbikes to travel to all parts, and I can see the enjoyment in doing these sort of things. I also have a motorbike, and my wife has a motorbike. So I have to admit that I enjoy going out on some of the roads and riding around and getting that feeling of freedom and being on the road is really quite special. So today I'm going to talk about renting motorbikes here in Thailand and getting around on your motorbike. So if you're interested in maybe sometime renting a motorbike and enjoying life here, motorcycling around in Thailand or around in Pattaya, then please keep watching. There you see it, what looks like a wonderful adventure, touring around a country like Thailand on motorbikes with your friends and your family. A real adventure holiday, absolutely wonderful. Yes, you can rent these big bikes also in Thailand. Here in Pattaya they do have them, also Bangkok, and I should imagine many places in Thailand have them. But they're more of a specialist type hire place, and you'd have to do a little bit of searching around Google or whatever to find out where you can get them from, book them, and because I think you'd have to book them. And they're not cheap either. I see that some places are charging around 30 UK pounds a day. That's about 40 US dollars. And for bikes of that size, I don't expect it really that expensive, but they're available, and it does make for a wonderful holiday. Of course, if you're going to be doing this, then I would strongly advise you bring all your necessary clothing, leathers, etc. with you. Also your own helmets, because they're not so readily available. Maybe the bigger bike suppliers do give you the proper gear, but not your leathers, etc. I think the majority of people are going to be looking for not these big bikes, but smaller bikes. And there's quite a few places around Pattaya that rent these bikes out. So maybe we'll look at a couple of them and we'll get an idea on some prices and what you need to actually bring with you if you want to hire one of these bikes. So let's have a look at that. I chose two motorbike rental facilities at random that I found on Google. The first of these being Speed Bike Pattaya. And if we look at this opening page on their website, a motorbike is the easiest way to transport yourself around Pattaya and its vicinity. Furthermore, it will save you a lot of time. It's also the most economical way to explore the area at your own tempo. Among our large fleet of some of the newest motorbikes and scooters on the market, you will find the model that suits you. Sounds good, huh? So here we have the rental rates from this company, Speed Bike Pattaya. A little bit more expensive than the last one I looked, but not significantly more expensive. Maybe the bikes are newer. Who knows? You need to go and look and check them out. But just look down here. The rates of our motorbikes include and scooters rental include Thai governmental insurance. Wow, that's fantastic. All those scooters come with 2 helmets and full of gasoline. Once again, it will be these small helmets. They do give some protection, but not the full head face protection that a good motorcycle helmets do. Our prices are discounted depending on the length of your rental. You can already take a look now. So there's the prices and there's the discount rates. So, sounds great, huh? Insurance as well. Well, let me tell you a little bit about this insurance. This insurance that everybody has when they register their bike each year, you've got to pay for this government insurance, and it virtually covers zilch, zero, nothing, or nothing significant anyway. There's about 50,000 baht that goes towards third-party claims. There's a little bit of money there, maybe for third-party medical insurance, and that's about it. There's nothing else. There's nothing to repair your bike. There's nothing to replace your bike. There's nothing to help you. All that is your problem. Unless, of course, the other person has been at fault in causing an accident with you. Then you might get that 50,000 baht, which if you go to a hospital here, that 1,000 baht, which equates to approximately maybe just over £1,000 UK or maybe $1,400, does not go very far. I can assure you of that. Minor injuries, maybe. That's all. That's on the understanding that the third party involved has insurance, because if they haven't, well, it's all kind of tough actually. And that, once again, you're on your own. So, all to be considered on this renting a bike aspect in Pattaya or in Thailand, indeed in Thailand also. So here we have this company, Zoride. Zoride, I don't know really how to pronounce it. And I don't really know anything about the company actually. But looking at the website, they seem to have a good range of motorbikes. And we'll just have a look through these. It does say at the top, all motorbikes are automatic and very easy to ride. All rentals include 2 helmets free of charge. Well, let me just reiterate the point of helmets again. If you're going to be going any distance, the helmets they give you in any of the rental places are the very small, just protecting the top of your head, and they're not even guaranteed to be the correct size. So you have to be aware of that. It's not the best option, but it keeps you legal as far as the police are concerned. And as for the safety, well, you'll have to judge that yourself. But I don't think it's a very high safety aspect that these helmets provide. So anyway, that saying, let's move on and have a look at the bikes that they're offering. So here we go. We have the Honda Click 125. They've got a red and a blue there. Very popular bikes, the Honda Clicks. Many people, Thai people like them a lot. 125 is certainly big enough for a roundabout town. In fact, I know people that actually journey quite far on this size of bike, even right up to the north of Thailand. I know one guy rides his bike. So it just goes to show the reliability of these machines these days. They are very, very, very reliable. The Honda Scoopy and the Yamaha Grand Filano. Yeah, there are also 125 bikes. As you can see, 200 bahts a day, which is pretty average. And you get various discounts for 7 days, 14 days, and also for if you're taking it for the complete month, 30 days. Moving on from there, we've got some more 125 bikes, the Yamaha Mio. All these bikes are very popular. The Honda Zuma. Quite a compact, small bike. Wouldn't be very comfortable for two people. Small wheeled, not ideal for long distance traveling, I think. But good for round town, very nippy, can get in and out of the places very easily. I know one motorcycle taxi driver that I took me home on one of these bikes, and my God, he scared the life out of me. He was in and out of all the traffic and traveling at what seemed like on a small bike, a tremendous speed, but it probably wasn't as fast as it seemed on the bike. The Yamaha Fino, another 125, very, very popular bike. Once again, 200 bahts a day. So there you go. You've got a good choice of these smaller 125 bikes, perfect for around town and journeys out. Not so comfortable for long journeys, I think. Now we go on to the slightly bigger bikes, the bikes a lot of people do use for touring. So we've got the Honda PCX 150, well, probably the most popular bike in Pattaya. You can see they've got two variations here. You also get key start and non-key start with these bikes. So I don't know which these are, but they are very modern, up-to-date bikes. In fact, they're all PCX 150s there. So you got a good selection of them. Down here, the Yamaha NMAX 150cc, that's not quite right, it's a 155cc. And how do I know that? That's because my bike's an NMAX, and I know it's got that extra huge amount of cc, an extra 5cc over the Honda PCX. But I would say that the Yamaha is much more of a performance bike, and the NMAX is absolutely superb. It's quite a long frame bike, so it's quite comfortable. You could get luggage boxes and things on it, and it would probably make a very good touring bike. The Yamaha Aerox, once again, it's a 155cc bike, and it's the same setup as the NMAX, but it's a shorter bike. It wouldn't be so comfortable for two people on long treks, but it's probably more convenient for a roundabout town and parking around about town. I find my NMAX just a little bit on the long side, particularly when you're squeezing in and at the side of a road. I've got to be a little bit careful because it does tend to stick out beyond other bikes. The Yamaha M-Slaz, I don't really know much about it, but it looks more like a cross-country bike here, 400 baht a day. So it's a little bit of a performance bike. Some people might really, really enjoy that. It's I would imagine they would actually. And here we go down to the 110cc class. These are the small Yamaha Fino, Honda Scoopy 1, and the Honda Click 1110i. So 50 baht cheaper, these bikes, 150 baht a day, and relevant. These are absolutely ideal for round town as well. It's perfect. One or two people round about town, no problem at all. Ideal, easy parked, easy maneuvered. So they've certainly got a good range of bikes in there, but there's many bike hirers in Pattaya, and you can spend, if you can spend a day or two shopping around, you might get yourself a bargain, etc. Also, there's some bike renters that have bigger bikes than these. Also, they go up to the 300 area, like the Honda Forza, and the Yamaha X-Max, and yeah, that's the two. I think there's also a Sim, but a Sim 300, a Sim 500, a very big bike. But yeah, if you're going long distance, etc., then obviously these are more powerful bikes and much more durable, and I think, and would probably be worth considering. But also, they'll probably use a lot more fuel as well. In fact, the fact that they're double the size of centiliters, cubic centiliters, and they're probably going to use double the fuel as well. So be aware of that also. So that's the type of bikes that are here in Pattaya, and there is a good selection. So if you're going to rent a bike, then you have a shop around. These are two companies that I've shown you here. I've no connection with them. I just looked them up on Google here and then looked at their website. So there we are. So let's go on to what you actually need to rent a motorbike or a car here, actually. So because they're very similar. So what you should have to rent a motorbike is you should have your international license and your normal license both with you, and you will also be asked for a copy of your passport. Some places might ask you for your passport, and I certainly wouldn't give them my passport. By all means, a copy of your passport. And a good thing to do, actually, is when you get here, is to go into one of the many shops that do photocopying. In fact, I'll recommend one to you now if you're in central Pattaya. Right on Second Road there, not far from the corner of Pattaya Klang Central Road. If you're walking along towards Pattaya Thai, not far along on your left-hand side, just 50 yards or so, you'll come across a big photography shop. If you go in there, I would get them to make me a copy of my passport, the normal facing page with all your details, and also a copy of your visa page. And I'd get 2 or 3 copies made up and keep them with you. You should carry your passport with you around you in Thailand when you're out and about. But carrying a photocopy is probably okay. And also take a picture on your telephone, just in case you forget to take it out. At least if you stop and ask to show your passport, you will have pictures of it on your telephone, which is better than nothing. So, but don't ever give away your passport to anybody. Keep that with you. It's a very, very important document. And why do they want your passport anyway? They want it so you cannot exit Thailand if you default on returning your car or your bike, if you've had a problem and you decide to get out of Thailand, etc. The first thing they will do when you are due to return your bike or your car is, if you don't turn up, and they will phone you to find out where you are and why you've not returned it, or they will try to contact you anyway. And if they fail to contact you and get an adequate response, then the first thing they do is they contact the police. And the police can put an immediate block on you exiting Thailand with your passport number. So all they do is that they put it on some alert system. It goes on to computer screens in the airport. So you go to check in at the airport, as soon as you hand your passport over, bang, you stop from leaving. If they've raised an alarm, and it happens very quick, within an hour or two, they can have that in place. And I've seen it happen many times when people have tried to go away at the end of their holiday and they've had some problem and they don't want to return the bike. They think they can just out the country and gone. Two things: if they initiate it quick enough, you won't get out of Thailand. And if you've already left Thailand, then they've got at least they've got your details, and then they can go through getting you traced and getting recompense for whatever you've done, etc. So, but that's the reason they want your passport. But don't give your passport. They will also want you to pay a deposit, some as high as 3,000 baht for a motorbike, as high as 5,000 baht for a car. In the case of the car, it's to cover their insurance premium that they've got to pay in the event of a claim. So a car is a much more safer bet to hire than a motorbike, because with a car, the maximum you're going to lose is your deposit, 5,000 baht. With a motorbike, you can lose an awful lot more, and I can assure you of that, and we'll go into that very, very shortly. So that's what you're going to need. You're going to need and also your driving license. Have I said your driving license already? Your driving license and an international driving license. Now then, in general, I'm not saying all because I can't say all, but in general, the people that are renting these machines out, the motorbikes and cars, etc., they don't really care if you've got a license or not, actually. As long as they get a copy of your passport and your deposit, they will let the bikes go. And if you get stopped for driving without a license, that's not their problem, that's your problem. And I think that's a big failing here in Thailand, actually, because I think these people should be held legally bound to make sure that you are going on the road with all the correct documentation, and they should advise you as such as well. In my experience, I've never seen it done. They're more interested in getting your deposit and getting the bike or car rented out and getting you on the road, and they've got an income coming in. That's all. Same as when you rent a motorbike. When you go out, you're going to see a lot of people, particularly in Pattaya and all around Thailand, actually. Many people on their bikes, riding their bikes without helmets on. Now, you're going to come across police roadblocks, for sure. And if you're riding along and you suddenly come across a police roadblock, which can be in all sorts of obscure places, actually. If you're riding without a helmet, they will stop you, for sure. And that's the start of your problem. If you haven't got a license with you or on you, that's the problem becomes even bigger. And they also carry your rental agreement with you, because that's another aspect. With your international driving license, make sure you've got your normal driving license. 9 times out of 10, they'll never ask you your normal driving license if you've got an international license. But it's all geared up to try and extract money from you at these roadblocks, etc. And you've got to be aware. I never understand here in Thailand when you see the Thais riding around with their helmets on their motorbikes in case they see a police roadblock. They don't realize the safety aspect of the helmet and how it might save their life. And believe me, the statistics on motorbike accidents here in Thailand are phenomenal. On average, there's 15 people killed every day, dead, killed. 15 every day. That's the average. My wife's niece here, she works in Banglamong Hospital, which is a government hospital here in Pattaya. And she has told me that the hospital receives multiple motorbike injuries every single day. And why? Because Thais, as well as other people, of course, like to drink alcohol, and then they like to go out on their motorbikes. And some are really, really drunk, driving around the streets. And I've seen it many times, driving without lights.
Oh.
Nobody cares if they've got lights on or not. Very few people seem to care. No helmets. So the consequences, many don't even have a license actually, and they'd rather pay a fine than try and get a license. And many probably are riding bikes that aren't on the road legally, so it's all going to be problematic. You know, it's when you think about, I think back to the UK. Many motorcyclists were involved in problems in the UK, have accidents with cars or whatever. A large majority of the time, it's not the motorcyclist that's to blame. It's the driver of the car or the vehicle that hasn't paid due attention to what's going on and has made a problem with a motorbike. And I've had several occasions where I've nearly done that as well through carelessness. And it's a big thing in the UK that serious motorcyclists are always complaining about, that drivers don't pay enough attention to motorcyclists. Well, you look at the population here in Thailand, a very large proportion of the people on the road have no driving licenses at all. They just get the vehicle. There are a proportion that have bought their driving licenses and haven't taken any tests. The tests itself are not really very difficult to pass. And there's no rules of the road as such here. There's supposed to be, but nobody pays any attention to them. And you see that all the time. They'll pass inside, outside, do all sorts of stupid maneuvers. And if you're coming here on holiday and you're going onto the road with this, you have to think about it very, very carefully. Because by renting a motorbike, you're taking a big, big gamble. That's for sure. And why do I say that? Well, you know, you rent a motorbike and you go out on these roads. There's a very high chance that you're going to have some sort of accident. You might think you're the safest driver, motorcycle rider in the world, and you might well be. But you're driving in a population of people that have very little road sense. A lot of them don't. There are good drivers as well, and there are very careful drivers as well. But there's a large percentage that aren't very careful, and they don't really think about it. There's a large percentage that you're going to come across that are driving out there with excess alcohol or drugs. And I personally have seen many, many tourists here with big plasters on their legs and arms and very badly injured stitches all over and face and arms, etc., where they've been knocked off these rental bikes, etc. I would love for the Thai government to get involved to make sure that people that rent bikes have got some experience and have a license to rent a bike. And if they don't have, and they're involved in an accident, then as well as them being in trouble and having the injuries, I believe the people that have rented the bikes to them should also be held responsible. And that's something that I wish Thailand would address and maybe implement. So I'm not trying to put you off renting a bike, because if you want to rent a bike, I agree that it's a very pleasant way to get round, and it can be very convenient, but it's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. And, you know, if you have an accident on a motorbike particularly, you've got very little comeback, very little insurance. As I said before, the insurance is virtually non-existent. Yesterday, I was actually looking at, because I saw an advert for somebody renting big bikes out at the cost of them 900cc going out at about 3,000 baht a day. Now that's £75 a day, UK money, close to $90 US a day to rent some of these big, big bikes. And they state that they give grade class 1 insurance with these bikes. So yesterday I looked up class 1 insurance for motorbikes, and you need to read it to believe it. You know, there's insurance, a lot of third-party insurance in there, very little medical insurance, and that's where the big problem comes. Because riding a bike here is very, very dangerous. The insurance companies realize that as well. They want you to take out the first-class insurance, but they want to limit their liability. I think the medical liabilities I saw in a particular one yesterday was limited to 50,000 baht. And that's for any one person. So if there's two of you on a bike, okay, 50,000 baht each. If you're the third party, if it's your bike and your insurance, then you're in a bad situation all in all. And many people have come here, been thoroughly enjoying their holiday, having the motorbike, going around the beaches, etc. For God's sake, keep away from alcohol when you're riding a motorbike, and drugs, of course, because that accentuates your chances of having an accident by a great degree. So you're best to stay away from it. If you're going to go out in a party, etc., leave your motorbikes at your hotels or your rooms or wherever. Stay safe. And then I'm coming on to another thing as well. There's a lot of scams and crooks here in Thailand, and I have known people here rent a bike. Remember, you got one key on the bike, and you rent your bike and you go out riding it, and then you go back. And if you're staying at some sort of room and you're parking on a main busy road, etc., when you go to your room, I've heard of people that are coming down in the morning and their bikes have gone. And I actually know that in some cases anyway, that the bikes have been stolen by the people that have rented them out, who immediately take them back and hide them away. They've got the blue book, the ownership book for the bike. They take it away. You go in and you report your bike's been stolen. Oh, sad, sad, sad. Now then you've got to pay for the bike as well, and that can be expensive. 4,000 or 5,000 baht, maybe even 4,000 or 5,000 pounds or dollars. It's going to cost you a lot of money anyway. And then when you've disappeared, and maybe after a safe time, the bikes come out again, and even though they're on police records, they've been stolen, they go back into recirculation, the bikes. And so the bike's been paid for by you, and the bike's back on hire again, waiting for the next gullible person to come along. I don't know the statistics during COVID, because obviously tourism was really, really down. But before COVID, there were several tourists here in Pattaya, badly injured, killed every year, every month, every week. People unaware of the dangers. So, as I say, I'm not putting you off your bike. It's a gamble. If you're prepared to take that gamble and risk big fines, both fines from the police, maybe problems with your medical bills if you have an accident, etc. I've seen people having to stay here until their relatives in the UK or other countries have paid the money for your hospital bills or for the hospital bills of the people injured, so that they could get back home, they could exit Thailand, because they've been in hospital, they've been patched up, etc., but they're running up extreme medical bills. And believe me, medical here isn't cheap. It's very expensive. Not as expensive as the States, but it's not free like in the UK. So it's a lot to consider, and it's a big, big gamble. But that's up to you if you take it. As I say, I ride a motorbike, and I'm very wary when I go out. I try to stay safe. I swore I'd never ride a motorbike here in Thailand, and then I sort of softened on the idea, and then I got a motorbike, and I'd never ridden a motorbike in my life before. And I got to admit, when I started riding, I made some very stupid mistakes here on the road, and nearly got into a couple of nasty situations. But now I don't drive too fast. I stick to the left-hand side, which doesn't save you too much, because as I say, the people overtake on any side here. If they think they can squeeze past you on the left-hand side and they're in a hurry, they will go past you, and they might collide with you and knock you over. I've got friends here, some very good friends actually, that have recently had accidents where they've been thinking they're safe, sitting on the left-hand side, and some motorbikes come between the cars and run straight into them at the side, on the inside of the road, and cause them injuries, damage to bikes. And in one friend's case, he was very lucky that the motorcyclist that run into him, who was incidentally had too much to drink, but didn't want the police involved, so he quickly said, "Look, I'll pay for your damages for your bike, etc." And his bike was off the road for 3 weeks. There was no compensation for the injuries my friend received, which weren't particularly serious. There was scrapes and some blood and scratches, etc., but nothing too serious. But it was bad enough. He didn't do anything wrong. These are all the things that can happen. And of course, the big possibility is, if it's serious, then you can pay the ultimate price for taking that gamble. And a lot of people, quite a few people, do pay that price. And I've seen some very, very sad stories here, and relations coming out, mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters coming here to Thailand to arrange the cremation or burial of their sons and daughters that are being killed here on motorbikes. It needs to be considered, and I'll let you consider what you would rather do. Other than that, that should wind up this video very well. I've got some little bits of video here that you can look at, and it just shows you the sort of problems you might have. But if you rent a bike, then up to you. I hope you enjoy your holidays here in Thailand, and stay safe. Please try. Thanks for now.